And so having a strong aura, as you know from the e-course, means that we have the ability to attract the right people into our lives. And it also means that we're very clear with our boundaries, our energy space. Are there any lessons that you've learned along the way that help you manage this?
Yes. So I would say really focusing on my self-awareness and developing that. And that's ongoing. I mean, I'm still doing that now, and I will need to continue to do that because, as we mentioned earlier, change is
Imminent.
constant.
Yeah.
So therefore, we're constantly changing. What I needed to learn last year or develop within myself is different to this moment in time. So that self-awareness, and what I mean by that with regards to your question is really understanding what feels really great and what do I really, really love about myself and what doesn't feel great, those emotions that come up in experiences every day. I think often can we just get used to having these uncomfortable feelings, whether it's in the workplace, perhaps it's a particular individual that someone has to work with and they make them feel anxious for a reason, or they make them feel frustrated or nervous or whatever that emotion may be. When that's coming up consistently, it becomes the norm, and therefore that person is no longer operating in a space of happiness and true authenticity because they're ignoring what it is about that situation that makes them feel so uncomfortable. So that self-awareness of really recognizing what feels good, what doesn't feel good, and why doesn't it feel good, so that they can proactively make some choices to change those circumstances. And then also...
So does the self-awareness also entail or include not just acknowledging something, but also doing something about it? So, for example, this person that's triggering me, looking into what's my responsibility, what's my part in this interaction, what can I do differently? And then actually actively changing the act of what I used to do.
Yes. And I think that self-reflection, that process can probably be drawn out longer than most of us do as well. And what I mean by that is when something's upsetting us so much, really looking internally and figuring out why. It's very easy just to tell someone that they need to change their behavior. But instead of figuring out why did that make me feel anxious, because the act that's happened, whether it's someone who is a little bit bossy or talks quite directly with someone, that's going to happen many, many more times in someone's life.
Absolutely.
So if they are just dealing with it like it's a symptom, could you not do that anymore? It's going to happen again when they meet someone else. So really reflecting internally as to why, what is it about that circumstance that makes me feel so bad? Because if you can get to the bottom of that, you may be able to continue communicating with that person and say nothing and actually be very happy because you've found what it is and resolved that within you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what else were you going to say? I think I interrupted you in reference to...
I was just going to say as well, the self-awareness of really appreciating the things that you love about yourself, and the things, all the other bits as well.
Really the shadow, of course.
Yes, because I think often that if we can do that, then that's when our chakra, our energy, our presence really grows and has a strength behind it, because we are, living totally authentically and we're attracting what we want. But that can only happen, I think, by us really appreciating all the bits about us.
Yeah, absolutely. Befriending our shadow. Yeah. I often say that as well with couples that are getting into a new relationship with one another. And a friend of mine was lamenting that in air quotes, the honeymoon period was over. And I said, but this is perfect. This is when you're really getting to know one another, because you've seen each other's light and you've been attracted to that light. But if you're going to stay together, can you befriend each other's shadows? In fact, can your shadows be allies and friends even? Because I think love for yourself involves a whole layer of things. Sometimes it's very passionate, and other times it's very patient. And when we are in a relationship with someone else, which is usually when those big triggers tends to come up and become amplified, that's when we can really see, hey, if I'm at peace with my own shadow, I'm going to attract someone that is likely, or in theory, going to be at peace with their own. And if we can work with that, it's, I think, a much more conscious relationship with both yourself and someone else.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that takes a bit of work as well, like us really getting familiar with it and recognizing that they're also the unique qualities that often are actually what other people love about us.
Quite often, yes. Our soul tribe, yes, exactly right.